From my first day here, training was such an awesome part of the curriculum.
I definitely had a mentor with me throughout the whole program.
I had a good idea of where I wanted my career to go because I had that mentorship and that guide.
It felt very supportive and I felt seen at every step of the way.
If you want to come to a place that is invested in your personal growth, come to Freddie Mac.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to our Home to More at Freddie Mac series. Today, we'll be talking about launching your career with our university program. If you're currently a student or have recently graduated, we'll be discussing the different opportunities we have available for you. And you'll also get to hear directly from those who have participated in our programs. My name is Claire Gallo, and I will be your moderator today. I work within human resources on our university recruiting team, where I lead and support our early career hiring efforts. Freddie Mac was my first full-time role upon graduation, and I have been here ever since, working on behalf of the talent acquisition team. I would not be where I am today if it were not for the internship opportunities I had when I was a student, which is why I am so passionate for this area. But enough about me. I want to introduce you to the stars of the show today. First, we have Ben Klosky, a former technology analyst who just moved into a new role at Freddie Mac as an engineering associate within our enterprise operations and technology division. Next, we have Sthefany Pedraza, who is currently a portfolio management and capital markets analyst within our investment and capital markets division. It's so great to have both of you with us today and can't wait to discuss how you each launched your careers. But before we get started, a few housekeeping items. Our discussion today will be about 30 minutes long. The entire event is recorded and will be available on the same event page as soon as the live event concludes. If you're attending this event live, please take a moment to check in through the QR code on your screen if you're on a desktop. If you're viewing from your phone, you can paste a link. We'll have a link for you available that you can copy and paste into a new browser. We also have our wonderful colleagues from the university recruiting team monitoring and responding to the chat. So feel free to drop any questions or comments you may have throughout our event. If we run out of time, we may be able to answer your questions post-event. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. I want to give an overview of our university program and the different opportunities that we have available. For students who are still pursuing their degree, we have a robust summer internship program. So from May to August of each year, our interns can work with their teams on real-world projects, have access to world-class trainings to evolve their skill set, meet with our leaders, and have some fun with their fellow interns. We have opportunities across the company for students that are pursuing degrees in accounting, in business, computer science, data science, information technology, law, real estate, risk management, and more. For students who are looking to graduate within the next year or have already graduated, we have our analyst programs that you can apply to. These programs are full-time opportunities with a programmatic touch. Our analysts have access to catered trainings based on skill set, events to build connections to fellow analysts, our world-class benefits, and more. There is a wide range of roles available for our analysts, including accounting, business, data, information security, real estate, risk management, software development, and many more. But it's one thing to hear about these opportunities from me, but it's another to hear it directly from those who have lived it. So now I want to bring in our panelists for that discussion. So Ben, let's start with you. What division do you work in? Where did you graduate from? And what drew you to your role?
Sure. I'm in enterprise operations and technologies, but specifically in operations. I graduated from George Mason University. I also went to Northern Virginia Community College before that. And I'm now at American University for grad school, which has been supported by Freddie and has been really awesome. I selected the role that I did because I interned previously to starting the tech analyst program. Team was a great fit and operations was a really great fit because operations generates a ton of data. So I get to play with a ton of data every day and it's really fun.
That's awesome. Well, as a fellow American University alum, I must say, like, go Eagles for what it's worth. Yeah. But Sthefany, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your background?
Yes, of course. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you, Claire, for inviting us to this event. And also thank you to everyone who is joining us online. I hope that you find this event or this conversation helpful. I work in the Investment and Capital Markets Division, and I graduated from the University of Georgia. And what drew me to my role, I want to say that when I was, in college and I was looking for a job, I found the rotational aspect of the analyst program very valuable. I thought that, learning about what different areas do and how they work with each other was something that, was important and relevant. And probably not a lot of people have the opportunity to do that. And so I really like that. Another thing that I really liked was the analyst cohort aspect of the program. At that time I was a little bit shy, but knowing that I was not alone joining the company, that there were other young smart people joining too, that made me a little bit more confident, because I knew that I was going to connect with them, maybe learn from them, and also make friends. And finally, I want to say that the culture was something that I really liked. I felt like everyone that I talked to at the beginning was always very helpful and very happy to help and chat with me to answer any questions that I had. And honestly, I really appreciated that.
That's wonderful. Well, I appreciate you both sharing your backgrounds and what drew you to Freddie. And of course, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty details of all of that. But now I'd like to learn more about your programs and kind of what a typical day looks like for you. So Sthefany, can you describe your current program for us, and how did you make an impact and find fulfillment in your daily role?
Yeah, no, thank you, Claire. So the Investment and Capital Markets Analyst Program is a 2-year rotational program where the analysts have, like I mentioned before, the amazing opportunity to spend 6 months in different areas of the division. So that means that you can do up to 4 rotations during those 2 years. And so, like I said, this is very valuable because you get to learn about, the area that you're rotating in, what they do, and how they work with each other. And also like how this specific area is contributing, to our overall mission of, making home possible. And that's honestly amazing. The program offers various levels of mentorship. So when you join, you're paired with a buddy who is an older analyst that has been part of the program. You will have your rotational manager, who is a person that you that you report to whenever you're rotating, in those 6 months. You will have your program manager, who is a person that you report to during the duration of the program. And you also have a VP or a director as a mentor. And honestly, all of these people, it's amazing to have, that connection too, because this is a great, opportunity for you to help, in your professional development. And so I honestly have definitely taken advantage of that, and I love that. And how the analysts make an impact, I feel like, like during your rotations, you learn a lot, and every time that you rotate, you bring that knowledge with you. And I feel like that's probably one of the main aspects where the analysts add value, right? Because you bring a different perspective from another area to a new team. Maybe you bring new skills that you can apply to whatever systems, processes, or projects that the new team has. So for example, in my first rotation, when I was working on some analytics, I was introduced to Python and SAS, and I was learning a little bit about VBA macros in Excel. So in my second rotation, it wasn't as analytical, but I worked on SQL and then again in VBA macros. And so that knowledge and skills that you gain from that past rotation is very helpful in your next one. And so one of the projects that I worked on my second rotation with another analyst, and that honestly I really enjoyed it, that I am really proud of, was this model in Excel where we use VBA macros to execute it, right? So this project was actually an FHFA scorecard item where we basically had to ensure that we were providing fair pricing to small and large sellers, so that we were not benefiting one or the other for being large or small. So we call this the level playing field in pricing, so that everyone is in the same level. So we worked during this model in Excel where we will feed data to it, and it will do pricing calculations for cash and guarantor sellers. It will organize the data, and then we'll make the report. I know that team still continues to use that model, and so I'm happy, for that.
Yeah.
Feeling proud of, and so I feel like this is just like an example. But I feel that the analysts, add a value and can make an impact.
That's really cool. Talk about leaving behind a legacy that really gets to just support the company moving forward. So that's really cool, Sthefany. Well, Ben, you're on the technology side of the house of Freddie Mac. And I know sometimes, we're a housing company and, we're a financial company, but we have a lot of cool technology opportunity as well. And so I would love for you to be able to speak to your program and how you've made your impact.
Yeah, sure. So first I would note that the word tech, very broad, intentionally so. So when you come onto the Tech Analyst program, it's also rotational. It lasts for a year, and typically there's 3 rotations. I only did 1, but that's because the team I was on was a really good fit. But you can rotate around to all kinds of different departments, needs, tech offices across the business that cater to a variety of different needs. So for instance, you can hop over to InfoSec, you can do cybersecurity. I did software development. I'm now doing data science. There's needs, and we have 2 big arms of business. We have single family and multifamily. They both need developers to write, huge applications, kind of like the model that Sthefany was just talking about. But yeah, very, very similar that you get paired with a buddy who will mentor you. They're critically for the tech analysts. There's not only opportunities for cloud development, but they'll also, Freddie Mac will support, pay for, and help you through massively important certifications like AWS Cloud Practitioner, Solutions Architect. That was a big draw for me, and Freddie Mac has gone above and beyond in helping me get those certifications and actually giving me hands-on sandboxes to play with and practice new tech. There's lots of opportunities to play with new technologies that you're not going to get access to at maybe smaller firms, just because Freddie Mac is so large that if you can think of it, it's happening somewhere in the company, and the tech analyst program is probably happy to rotate you there and let you play with the tech that you want to work with. I really wanted to work with machine learning. I'm doing that every day, and it's pretty awesome.
That's so cool. Oh, well, I love hearing how y'all, again, are making your impact and leaving behind your own legacy of Freddie. So that's really wonderful to hear. And so next thing, I want to chat about, as a student looking to pursue a career, there are a lot of opportunities out there, and sometimes it can feel overwhelming. So Sthefany, I'm curious from you, what were the important factors that you considered when you began your post-grad search, and how did Freddie Mac meet those needs for you?
No, yeah, thank you, Claire. So some of the factors that I considered were obviously, compensation, benefits, and the culture of the people was also really, really important for me. And so obviously, Freddie Mac checked all of the boxes for me. But I remember when I was in college, I used to work part-time at a mortgage company, and I really liked that job because I was on the, market, helping people get a home. And to me, the next step was to get into the secondary mortgage markets. And as soon as I learned about the analyst programs at Freddie, I literally went all in. I remember I attended an event organized by OLA, the Hispanic Organization for Leadership and Achievement. OLA is a business resource group here at Freddie, which is another thing that I love. Freddie really champions diversity, and having BRG, BRGs allows you to find a community within the company. And now I am a leader in OLA, which is amazing. I love that group. And there are many other BRGs here in the company. But anyways, so after I attended the events, I reached out to one of the panelists, and she was awesome. She introduced me to some other analysts, program leads. And the first thing that I noticed was the people, and the culture about how everyone was so happy to help me, answer any questions that I had. And I really appreciated that. So the culture was something that was important to me again, and the first thing that I noticed when I was looking for a job. And then again, compensation is great, but then the benefits are awesome too. We have obviously, our well-being benefits that includes, all of our regular healthcare plans, medical, dental, vision. We also have a wellness center here on campus, which I think is really cool. We have a 401k matching and all of that. And we have really cool benefits like the educational assistance, where Freddie Mac pays, for you to assist, to college, or any certificates that you want to get. Freddie Mac will pay for that. They also have the student loan repayments, and another one that I recently took advantage of, which is the home benefit, program, where basically Freddie Mac offers assistance for the down payment of your first home. And now I am a homeowner, so that's awesome.
Yay!
But yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful, Sthefany. Well, congratulations on that. That is so huge and really relates back to our mission of making home possible for everybody. But again, I love hearing how you all have taken advantage of those benefits. So Sthefany, whether it's the first home buyer's benefit, or Ben, I know you spoke of using the continuing education benefit as well to be able to go and get your master's. I myself can speak from personal experience. I have fully taken advantage of that student loan debt repayment program, where Freddie will give you up to like $9,000 towards your student loans. So that way you can go ahead and move forward with any other financial goals that you have. And I know those are ones that students really love to hear because it's definitely top of mind for them. So now I know it's one thing to choose to come here, but it's another to have a great experience. So I'd love to learn how you expanded your skills and grown professionally while working at Freddie Mac, and how you were supported in that growth. So Ben, I would love to hear from you.
Yeah, for sure. Like you just mentioned, the two big things for me, I can kind of split this into two categories, have been like the outside external of Freddie Mac, like professional development, like masters, right? Freddie Mac has been incredibly supportive of me going to graduate school. I wouldn't say that if it wasn't true. My managers have been beyond flexible, understanding, helpful, giving me resources in addition to like the more formal benefits, like Freddie Mac actually helping me pay for tuition. That was one of the big things that brought me to Freddie Mac in the first place, was the ability to have continuing and professional development, both educational, and we have internal professional development systems as well. Like there's an employee training platform that's actually pretty great. I've taught myself a few like I've had programming assignments where I needed to learn something very quickly. My first reaction isn't I need to go to YouTube. It's I need to log into the Freddie Mac University system and learn something through there. I'm sure y'all are familiar. And then the second big thing is that in tech, there's constantly new products being developed in like the open source space, new vendors, new products every 3 weeks. That's the nature of the beast. And Freddie Mac is not shy or worried about adopting these new things and letting developers try things that might fail. I've been given a lot of leeway to say, hey, like Ben, that sounds like a cool idea. Go build it. Go create this thing, try and model this. See if you can make a model that works using, some new library in Python. And I've had management hand me opportunities that do things that might totally fail. And I've had opportunities to deliver big wins because of this. And then when things haven't worked out, it's been, okay, let's take a step back, address what went wrong, and see how we can learn from this in the future, rather than maybe like a do or die kind of environment. Like the atmosphere in EO&T, enterprise operations and technology specifically, is very amenable to learning and developing over time. And I've been very, very grateful for that.
That's awesome, Ben. That's really cool to hear. And again, I just love going back to these real world projects that both of you have had access to. I think there is this misconception sometimes on early career roles are very like grunt work, just admin based. And so knowing that you guys are really getting a hands-on experience in work that not only is building your skill set, but also able to teach you what you could do moving forward in your career is just so valuable. So I love hearing that for each of you. But Sthefany, how about yourself? Talk about your skills, how you've expanded them and grown professionally so far at your time at Freddie.
No, yeah, absolutely. I want to second everything that Ben mentioned about FMU. That's a platform that we use. But yes, no, ever since I joined Freddie, I feel like I have grown exponentially. Like I mentioned before, like doing the rotations and being exposed to different systems, programs, have helped me a lot to gain like new skills and being able to, put them to work in that same rotation, or even like bringing that to a different rotation. So that has definitely been really helpful for me to develop new skills. And again, like Ben mentioned, this platform that we have, it's amazing. Like when I was learning about VBA macros, I definitely really used this platform because it had a lot of courses that are totally free. So it's a great benefit to have that. And I also want to mention that when it comes to, my professional development, the mentorship levels, again, I have definitely taken advantage of that too. Having access to all of these people, networking and like learning from them have helped me tremendously. in my professional development here at Freddie Mac, and I am honestly really thankful for that.
Wonderful. Well, that's so great to hear because we want to make sure that you all have the support. I think that's one thing I like to call out about our intern and analyst programs. It's about the work that you're doing on an everyday basis because you want to be able to build on that skill set. But we also like to ensure that you all have that programmatic element to that as well, where you're able to have mentors, you're able to have buddies, access to additional training that go just beyond your everyday job. So that's what we really try and strive for with our university program. So I'm thrilled to hear that you all have had that experience. Now, I'm sure we have quite a few students on the line with us. And so many of them are looking for that first full-time job, maybe going into that senior year. And it can feel very daunting starting to look on whether that's LinkedIn, different career sites, whatever it may be to find that job. So I'd love to ask each of you, what is your top advice that you would give to students as they are currently looking for that first full-time job? So Sthefany, let's start with you on what your advice would be.
Yeah, of course. Something that really helped me was to network. So that's definitely my top advice. So please reach out to people, ask any questions that you have, or just introduce yourself. It's really important to have that connection with people because they will remember you. I always tell like this to other people because I'm like, okay, like you make an impact when you meet someone new, right? And so definitely network, reach out to people. And I want to say that also please have someone review your resume. It's also an important document. Sometimes I remember when I was like looking through mine, I was like, okay, it looks good. And then, I had someone else review, like, okay, maybe let's say this better, right? So please have someone review your resume. It's an important document. And network a lot.
Sounds good. Those are all great pieces of advice. Ben, what about yourself?
Yeah, so the big one that I have is maybe a little idiosyncratic to tech, but I studied tech in undergrad. There's a lot of, I think, pressure on people to try to get into software engineering positions in tech-focused firms, and I would advise students really not to limit yourself just to tech as an industry. I mean, Freddie Mac is doing cutting-edge stuff with machine learning, artificial intelligence, quantitative modeling. Like there are opportunities outside of the tech industry that result from economies of scale and a big firm that has a lot of needs. I've been able to dabble with stuff that I probably would not have been able to do if I was at a smaller company or even like a small tech company. I have access to technologies here at scale that are really, really awesome. And I would also say that if you are in tech and you're looking for a tech-focused position, make stuff. Make stuff just for the sake of making something that you think would be fun. It's always better to be able to point to something that you've created and something that you've put time and thought and effort into as kind of like think of like if you were an artist, you would want a portfolio. You should do the same for, technology. Like I've made this thing. Look at how cool this is. Look at how awesome I could be if I was here and if I could make things like this for you. Like every time that I've been involved with the interviewing process, that's been what's blown us away with people who really think outside of the box to create things and have that kind of like underlying passion. But yeah, that's the big piece of advice I would give to students. Don't limit yourself to one specific narrow industry, and also just make stuff for the sake of making stuff.
Yeah, I think that's really great advice, Ben, because I think from a lot of the conversations I've had with students, you get so focused on what your course of study is. You know what your major is, and with that, you have a clear idea of what a career path should be for you. I remember when I was a student, you would go to very similar talks like this. You'd hear from folks who are 15, 20, 25 years into their career. And I remember they would always say, oh, I studied this, and now they're doing something that's polar opposite of that. And I never understood that because as a student, I'm like, I'm working so hard towards my major. Why wouldn't I do something that is aligned with that? And as somebody who was a public relations major in college, and now I'm working within human resources, I totally get it now. There are skills that are transferable. There are opportunities that you didn't even know existed yet. Maybe there are fields that you didn't really know what all it included. So for myself now, I work on behalf of university recruiting and getting to do human resources like work, but I'm working with our corporate communication folks, getting to do things like promotion, getting to understand what employer branding is. So it kind of relates back to what I do, but in a setting that I otherwise wouldn't think. So I think that's really, really valuable advice to students. So remaining open. Always recognizing too that, when you're looking at qualifications on a job description, don't limit yourself because you don't think you fit every single kind of check mark that's there. When in doubt, apply. You never know what opportunities are going to be there. And I will say too, one very minor technical thing I always tell students to look out for, and Sthefany, it kind of goes back to what you were saying about a resume, always include the month and year of your graduation. It's amazing how much of a difference that can make as recruiters or talent advisors are taking a look at your candidacy. A lot of the eligibility on university programs is related to when you graduate. So I know sometimes a lot of the tips and tricks are, just include the year, but I highly recommend also including the month and year because that can make a huge, huge difference. So as we come to a close, I want to say thank you so much to our incredible panelists, Ben and Sthefany, for taking the time today to speak about their career and experience. It has been so wonderful seeing each of you shine over these last 2 years and seeing all that you have accomplished, as I know it is the first of many accomplishments for you. So again, just congratulations all around to each of you. Our discussion is coming at a perfect time as our team is preparing for our 2024 recruitment to begin. So take a look at our resources in the chat for more information on our student opportunities and how to get started. I want to say thank you to you, our audience, for joining us today and taking the time to learn more about what we do at Freddie Mac. At Freddie Mac, our mission is the why, and making home affordable and accessible. It's what we are here for. But the how behind our work is guided by our competencies. So to lead, not by title, but by example, to collaborate with our colleagues in our team and across divisions, to deliver results and meet our goals, to focus on stakeholders with a customer-first mindset, and to grow and develop at every stage and level with a continuous learning approach. If that sounds like you, we'd love for you to consider Freddie Mac as you start your career. All links and resources mentioned will be linked in the comments below for you. If you have not already done so, please be sure to check in to the event using the QR code on the screen or in the link to our resource list. You can rewatch and share this event on our LinkedIn through the events page. Thank you again to everybody for joining us today. We hope you have a wonderful remainder of your summer, and we'll see you next time.